and welcome to Talk to the CEO. I'm Darielle Snipes with the Cleveland Metropolitan School District News Bureau. Today, Superintendent and CEO Eric Gordon will be talking about the summer learning experience and what families and students can expect for the new school year as COVID cases go down and more people become vaccinated. But before we get started, if you have a question for Mr. Gordon, please leave it in the comments or in a direct message. Well, welcome, Eric.
Welcome, great to see you.
Nice to see you as well. So the summer learning experience is underway, and it's a great chance for students to catch up, things that they might have missed during the school year, or get ahead for the next school year and definitely engage in some fun activities. How is it going so far?
Well, with week one behind us of the first session, we're off to a great start. 6,700 kids enrolled. Kids are engaged in finishing their unfinished learning from the school year. Enrichment projects in STEM, arts, humanities, and love the land. And the projects have already kicked off and they're already working on them. And then afternoon engagement with out-of-school time providers of all sorts of types. Band camps, tennis camps, volleyball camps, things going all over the city. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy, and we're off to a great start.
So the first session registration is now closed, but what do you want to say to the parents who are on the fence about the second session that starts July 12th?
Well, you still have time to enroll in that second session, and for our year-round schools, we have an intermediary session for them as well. So while session one is closed, there's still time to get your students back engaged in learning and having a lot of fun, reconnecting with friends and making new friends in the engagement portion as well.
Most definitely. Now, you've said the summer learning experience is just a preview of what you would like to see CMSD become. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
That's right. This is really our prototype of what school and learning ought to look like. We ought to actually love doing learning, right? It should be joyful and adventurous, and it should be stuff that we want to struggle with, hard tasks that we want to wrestle with. Things we can demonstrate like we're going to do on our celebrations of learning days over the summer. So as we move into the fall, we're making some huge investments in what school year is going to look like as well. First, we're going to maintain that one-to-one technology and really get on a 4-year cycle of continuing to refresh that technology, keep our students connected. We're adding a health professional to every single campus in the city so that we can feel confident in the public safety in our schools. And we know health professionals are necessary for the physical health and the emotional health of our kids as well. In our high schools, we're converting our media centers into community college and career hubs, cyber cafes that are open before and after school, during lunch and throughout the day, where students can explore their career interests, get help with their college information, or just join the community center, sign up for activities, look at the job board, things of that nature. In our pre-K-8, expanding art, music, and physical education, and extending before school or after school opportunities for choir and band and orchestra and art club and jump roping club and chess club and we're going to convert our bell schedules to add activity buses so that kids can get to the event or come home later like kids get to do in the suburbs. And so that's just a beginning of the things we're going to see when we come back to school on August 23rd.
And it's really nice. And how do you expect our community partners to continue to play a role in this?
Well, everything we've done around education in Cleveland is as a community. And so there's the parts that we do as educators, and then there's the parts that our out-of-school time providers and our arts providers and our other partners do. And we imagine it a mix of both so that there will be plenty of activities to really engage our kids, re-immerse back into learning as something that we can have fun and joy with.
And so, will these changes happen obviously for the next school year? I mean, what would you like to say to parents and to students about what they can expect to see the next school year with all these changes?
Well, what they should expect to see is the energy that you're seeing this summer, that we're really working on making content fun and enjoyable and engaging and worth struggling with, and that there will be more ways to demonstrate learning authentically. That now that I learned an instrument, I'll perform in a band, I'll have a concert, that I'll display my art, that it'll be juried, but that my science work will be presented to a panel of scientists, or my government work to civic leaders. The things that we are doing this summer are the things we want to move forward as the way we can make learning a lot more engaging, not just in summer, but all the time.
So yeah, I know that this summer there's a lot of excitement and everybody seems to be happy to be back into the classrooms 5 days a week who are participating in the summer learning experience. But with everything that has happened in this past year with the pandemic, remote learning, hybrid learning, there are some things that have been lagging. So for example, seniors haven't applied to college or enrolled in college at the numbers that they used to. How is CMSD and our community partners, how are we going to buck that trend?
Well, so we're going to relaunch Say Yes to Education in a very big public way, because Say Yes happened and then the pandemic happened. And while we've really kept it going, we think a public relaunch is probably a good idea. That actually was an idea generated by a student who sits on the Say Yes committee. We are running FAFSA campaigns all throughout the summer. In our summer high school sites, we are helping students complete FAFSA and Say Yes so that they can still go. We're actually looking backward again because of a student to have our 2020 prom that we never had. So we're really trying to think about what are the jump starts to get these kinds of things going for our students again. Even this summer in summer experience, students are really focused on finishing those unfinished credits and finishing up high school. So we're really excited by the level of enthusiasm that we've seen with our high school students actually saying the other stuff sounds fun, but this is important to me. So you're going to see a lot of catching up, but our kids are up to it and they're working hard at it.
They are, and so obviously the summer learning experience is super exciting, going to be happening throughout the summer. The school district is setting the start date for the next school year, I think it's September, August 23rd. But what do you want parents and students who maybe aren't a part of the summer learning experience, how they can get ready for the next school year?
Well, so we're still in a pandemic, and so the CDC rules are still in place. We don't know what those will look like in August, but right now that means that we have to wear masks when we're in school settings. We have to maintain 3 feet social distancing when we're in school settings, and we have to continue to wash and sanitize our hands. That would likely continue throughout the summer unless the CDC lifts those guidance. So being prepared for some of those things that we're already familiar with and they're working fine. But also, we know some kids and families may just not come back to in-person learning until all children can be vaccinated. And so we will be offering a remote school again for those that need it. But we really want the majority, the large majority, back in our schools. And then finally, we are playing a big role in helping our kids 12 and older get vaccinated. And that's really for kids and families. And so we're part of the pop-up clinics. And our school sites are places where you can conveniently go and get your vaccine so that we can all get back to full safety as we go into next year.
And what are the plans for next school year? Will we be 5 days a week in person, or will there be a hybrid option again? I know you talked about the remote, but...
We will be 5 days a week in person, no hybrid option. We will have the remote option and then a virtual academy. There are some high school students who have made the case for the asynchronous Wednesday, and I've asked them to work on a plan that they can communicate to parents and educators of how that will be a productive use of their time. So I'm willing, again, as we think about how making learning anytime, anywhere for our kids, to be a little flexible based on kids' commitment to make it work. But for the great majority, it's going to be 5 days a week, full-time education in school.
Wonderful. And just final thoughts from you. I mean, we've been talking about this pandemic and everything for the last 15 months. There were some dark days, as you had predicted, but we're coming out. This is what you've talked about. We're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel like we're there.
Yeah, when you look back on this, first we thought we were going on a 3-week spring break, right? And then we were told to shut down for the rest of the year, which was our first kind of jolt because our community isn't digitally connected. And so you'll remember the printed materials we were mailing home, delivering at schools, and the programming we did on TV, which is still going today, actually. Then there was the summer that wasn't because we were locked down, and the realization that we had to become a remote district when you couldn't get devices because no freight was moving around the country and everybody was ordering it. Then we had to get to hybrid, and so that very complicated puzzle. This one's different. So it's complicated to figure out what summer experience might be. It's complicated to figure out about a bright future fall might be, but it's fun. And we're finally being able to get back to what all of us went into education for, which is learning and teaching. And I'm so excited when I'm in our schools like I was last week for summer experience and seeing the teachers smiling and getting to just be with their kids again. And so it's every bit still that hard work, but now it's fun hard work again, and that's work worth doing.
Yeah, that was great to hear the laughter in the hallways again.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I'm all done with my questions unless there's something else you'd like to add.
I just want to thank the CMSD community for just the grace and space that it's taken us through this 15-month experience. When we look around the state and country, that's not always been the case. And I'm just really grateful to our scholars and their families and caregivers and our educators. We're here today because of that collective sense of togetherness that we could get through this.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes Talk to the CEO with Eric Gordon. If you have a question for him, please leave it in the comments or in a direct message. I'm Darielle Snipes. Thanks for watching.